to hold your microphone and give a testimony. Ours, we hold the microphone. All right. Hi, I am Alishia. I am a grateful believer in Jesus Christ who has had many struggles related to chemical dependency, which today I have been delivered from. My name is Alishia.
Hi, Alishia.
Growing up, I had a mother, a father, and 3 siblings. A brother 18 months older than me, a sister 8 years younger than me, and another sister 13 years younger than me. We always were and still are very close despite the struggles experienced in my life. Growing up, we had a normal life in my eyes, other than the fact that we moved around a lot. Like every few months while I was still in grade school, having friends and social connections was pretty much impossible for me until I hit my late teens. I am the daughter of alcoholic addict parents and also grandparents, so it does run deep in my genes. My life as I saw it, though growing up and looking back, was never full of any real traumatic experiences. My parents always worked, and we always had a roof over our head. Always plenty of food, and the holidays seemed as they should. So I did not feel like I ever wanted for anything. I don't look back today and see a bad childhood, but I do see adventure after adventure. My parents were really good at describing what was really going on in life, disguising what was really going on. My father was a very controlling man while he was alive toward my mother. Later in life, as a teen, I learned this after I found out what a healthy relationship was supposed to look like. But in my eyes, it made me stronger seeing the way that he treated my mother. She eventually left him right before my 16th birthday. She came to Abilene, Texas to the Noah Project, her and my little sisters. She called me at school to let me know and I remembered that day being so proud of her. I stayed with my dad for about a week, and all of his anger started falling on me from her leaving. So I went and stayed with my best friend until she returned. Which she did, and when she did, she was a strong one with boundaries. It wasn't 6 months later my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and was given 6 weeks to live, and lived 3. I was by his side in his last days, at hospice, at home with my grandmother, despite it all. My mom remarried soon after, and that relationship gave me 4 bonus sisters. We had 5 little girls in our house, a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and 2 2-year-olds, and I was 16. With my dad out of the picture and having my newfound parents busy with the youngsters, it was easy for me to experience freedom, and I did. For the first time in my life, I had developed close bonds with people from school and around town that I had always longed for growing up, since we had never stayed in one place more than a few months. The friends that I chose were those that drank alcohol for fun, and that is when my drinking began. At age 16, which seemed pretty normal to me, because I assumed everyone did it. And my mom didn't care as long as I went to school, worked, and didn't get in trouble. With the newness of my mom's new love and family with so many younger siblings, I was pretty much treated as an adult around the house. They relied on me a lot to help take care of my sisters, and I did, and I never complained. My grades never even slipped in high school. I did extra classes so I could graduate my junior year and get my own place, which, by the way, is hard at 17 because I had to have my bills co-signed for me at that age. But I was officially on my own. I married my first husband when I was 18 years old, while I was in college studying to be an LVN. At 19, I had a money-making career, the car, and even purchased a home and had a dog, and got a dog. For some reason, this wasn't enough, though. When I turned 21, I discovered my new love for the bar. My husband wanted babies, and I wanted to party. He was ready, and I was not. One day while he was at work, I packed up everything I could fit into my car, and I left it all, even the dog. Within a week of having my own place, I was introduced to my DOC meth. I always said I would never grow up to be an alcoholic like my parents, and I never did. I didn't know at that time, though, that I was working my way to become a full-blown drug addict instead. Over the course of the next 20 years, I worked and used my DOC And I lost a lot. I lost jobs, children, homes, relationships, families, cars, my nursing license, and I lost all hope. I had long stints of hospital stays, one up to 30 days with a 13% chance to live, and this is still, and after this still, I chose my DOC over everything. I didn't know God at this time in my life. I started seeing a guy, and then guess what? I got pregnant. Yes, didn't have my first 2 children, and now pregnant again. Had a roof, but no car, no job, no plan, and I was 6 years into nothing but active daily addiction. I didn't quit. Even after my now husband left, thinking that would help me get clean. I didn't stop using until I was 6 months pregnant. It's sad, and I'm not proud of this. And today, I thank God every day that my baby is okay.
Amen.
Fast forward, after I had my son, then I got septic because my body had no nutrients, and they described it as my body was eating itself. It was a C-section. I showed up to the doctor when my son was 5 days old, and the day after my husband met our son. I had 106 fever, and I was put in ICU, and 6 surgeries later and lots of antibiotics, I was finally okay. I was released when my baby was 3 weeks old. My husband was at the foot of my bed when I woke up from my last surgery and never left my side again. When my son was 4 months old, I relapsed, and it continued until he was 18 months old. I tried getting help on my own, but with COVID starting, no one would open their doors. CPS was at my door within 2 weeks of me calling the Abilene Recovery Council to help me get into rehab. I tried avoiding them, but with a court order eventually came, and a hair follicle was done on all 3 of us. My child was positive for meth, and the amount in his system was half as much as mine. The cops took our child that day. I have never in my life felt the pain I experienced that day. I tried killing it by using, which did not work. I tried quitting on my own and was successful for 43 days, going to meetings and then relapsed. I lost it at this point and went further off into my addiction. For 6 months we used, and after we cried because we knew we were risking losing our baby, yet had no willpower or courage to stop. As time went by, a few months later, I tried to get a hold of my caseworker, and she had been fired. Her supervisor had been out with COVID for 2 months, and my lawyer passed away from COVID. So I was beyond alone with no hope now. Getting help seemed impossible, and no matter how bad I finally wanted it, Remember, I still have no relationship with God at this point. I've never heard much about this God. It wasn't that I didn't believe, I just didn't know. Well, anything about him. Nobody had ever introduced him to me. A month later, I was called by Nexus Recovery Center where everything changed. I packed my bags and left not knowing, scared and alone but determined. My husband was very supportive. I had a counselor who got a hold of the judge of my CPS case and got me a new lawyer and a new caseworker. I finally had hope. 2 weeks into treatment, an old using friend of mine and longtime neighbor showed up to Nexus and was placed in my pod. I helped her detox, and then she introduced me to this loving God that does the worrying for you so you do not have to.
Yes.
Just hearing that opened my mind enough to listen, and that's all it took. It's like I felt it. I felt God was there for the first time. Learning who God was explained a lot in my life, knowing why I'm still alive. We listened and we danced to worship music every morning the next 2 weeks of my stay, and upon discharge, I was ready to face this world head on with a new sense of hope and perspective. That is what I have done ever since. I got home and first night was at a meeting. The 4th night I was at home, a church revival came to the circle where I lived in Sweetwater, and I ran out there. It was 20 degrees outside, but I saw the baptism mobile, and I had to be baptized right then and there. And I was, in 20-degree weather. From that day forward, I was a new creation. The bad was washed away. As time went on, I started getting visits with my son. 4 months into my recovery, my husband was asked to join the Nolan County Drug Court program. His lawyer told him if he did this program, his son would be able to come home. He didn't hesitate. Our family finally had a chance. I knew it was God's work putting him into that program. I was 3 months clean at the time already. He had had me for support, and together we were determined to stay clean and do the next right thing. We got to start seeing our son together. We threw ourselves into as many recovery-related activities as we could find, and both got jobs and soon a vehicle. We still have our apartment, thank God. The drug court program has many things that they require, but one of them on the list is Celebrate Recovery. We decided to check it out, and we loved it. I think we had maybe missed 10 nights in almost 5 years as of now. I still attended AA every night, and I wasn't at CR, and that's where I worked my steps for the first time. I did not go without a meeting daily for nearly 2 years. I had a sponsor that knew the program, knew me, and it was no nonsense. God had to have picked my sponsor because I was a very stubborn individual, and self was big within me, and giving it to God was very hard, and so was self-acceptance of everything that I had done in my life and everyone that I had hurt. And self-forgiveness I thought would be impossible without a strong sponsor serious about recovery. I got through it, crying, kicking, screaming at times. I had found a church home as well that was linked to Celebrate Recovery. My spiritual walk started to grow week by week, and one day I asked a lady I was meeting with weekly for discipleship if I could go on a walk to Emmaus. I went. I made 2 decisions while I was there. One was that I was no longer going to have sex outside of marriage, because I wasn't technically married at this time. And 2, that I knew what the purpose from the rest of my days were. I knew what God wanted for my life. My husband and I love Celebrate Recovery so much, Pastor Lauren married us during a Celebrate Recovery meeting.
Woo!
A month after our son was returned home to us.
Yes.
Living a godly life became my goal. I looked for every chance I had to serve. Pastor Lauren seen my passion, and a year into my recovery, he asked me to take over the women's small group at CR. Leading that group at Celebrate Recovery taught me that I was more than an addict. This is where my heart shifted closer to Celebrate Recovery. I decided being an addict wasn't the label I wanted, and here at CR, we believe in breaking the strongholds that release our bad habits.
That's right.
I realized that I was a child of God. I realized that I had healing and became more than my past mistakes, but God. I signed up for college to be a licensed chemical dependency counselor because I wanted to spend the rest of my life helping people out of the ashes and through the hard times I had personally experienced. My passion was on fire. I know how effective a person can be helping others if they have truly lived the darkness and came out on the other side stronger than ever. And I need to show this anywhere and anytime I can. I graduated college December 2023 and yet faced another obstacle. But I didn't let it stop me. The Criminal Review Board for the Licensing Committee sent me a letter saying that I could not obtain my chemical dependency license until 2031. I was very sad, yet very determined. It took me a couple months, but because I worked so hard without giving up, getting where I was, I came up with a plan. I got letters of recommendation from everybody I could think of. The judge, the DA, chief of the police, Pastor Lauren, my friend Michelle, right there. The wonderful people I worked for, Corey and Martha, and the head of the counseling department at TSDC. And some of the others I'm probably forgetting to mention, and they explained to this board how much my life has changed in recovery, how I served the community without hesitation, and how I deserved my license to help others. I also wrote a letter. I printed off my application to license, paid the licensing fee, and I mailed it with all the letters to the board. March 2024, they sent me my license. If that doesn't make people believe life is possible after addiction, I honestly don't know what will.
Yeah.
Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation, and old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Now all things are of God, who has reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ, and has given us the ministry of reconciliation. The old is gone, and the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17-19. From the day I walked into Celebrate Recovery, I felt as if Pastor Lauren believed in me more than I believed in myself. Or better yet, he believed in me until I could believe in myself. Today, I give all the glory to God and the work he has done in me. Blessings have poured into my life for my family and I. We were saved and now living better, happier life than we had ever known. I learned the power of contentment. I was looking for something in life that I could never find, no matter how many families I had, or children I had, or men I had, or careers I had. I was missing knowing the loving God inside my heart. I was finally fulfilled. We never stopped growing in our faith and spreading that faith and hope with others. I pray we never do. Today we are raising our son in the church, and we have broken those chains of addiction that are so deep in our lives. I have an amazing relationship with my oldest son that lives in Midland. I signed official adoption papers on my second child to my brother. And, of course, I have my other one back at home. And he is very, very smart. He is a happy, healthy, smart young man who's living in a great family. The relationship I have with my husband is a healthy, godly relationship that will last the rest of our lives. I am now the ministry leader of Celebrate Recovery in Sweetwater.
Sweetwater!
If y'all want to come, it's Thursdays at 6:15. Okay, anyways, where was I? I'm on the drug court foundation, and I'm on the drug court panel.
Wow.
And I am a part of Bible Study Fellowship. I have sponsored many, many people on the Walk to Emmaus, and I have love and respect in my community. I deserved nothing I have at this moment, but God gave me the grace to grow into the person I am today. And all I had to do was say yes. Yes to surrendering my life to him, and yes to believing that there is something greater in my life that could restore me to sanity.
Yeah.
Step 2 is the one I have to say is my favorite. I tried this program many, many times in the past, but it wasn't until I realized my way wasn't working and I needed help and decided to surrender that it was ever success. Truly believing that there is a God and I am not him. Saying to myself daily, I can't, God can, and today I'm going to let him.
Yes.
It has changed everything. My advice to the newcomer, or for anyone who is struggling to find the joy in recovery, get involved, find your people, and put yourself in uncomfortable new situations so that you have the chance to grow and find a new way to live. You are never a burden to somebody in recovery. Reach out. Even when you are just bored and need someone to talk to. Removing the drugs and alcohol alone will never be enough. But with the people that God places in your life, your whole world could change. But you have to surrender to the suggestions, and you have to be willing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. The only thing you have to change is everything. Be of service to your group. Work your steps with a sponsor, and when you are done, be that sponsor to others. The best way to keep the joy of recovery is by giving it away. Step 12, the step in which I live my life by today. Thank you for letting me share.